Yeah, so we're here at ABAC in Tifton, Georgia. You just slide this over top, something a little bit easier to use. Yeah, so we're here at ABAC in Tifton, Georgia. So we're donating them a new Boar blanket. They've been trapping with some other traps throughout this year of them doing everything with school. So we're excited to pass this on to them. I'm gonna give them a demo on how to set it up, show them kind of how it works, a little bit of differences in what they've been trapping with and what they're gonna start trapping with. What's some of the things y'all, don't like about, setting that up and everything? Those U-bolts? Yeah, you're gonna really like ours. What'd you say? Too many T-posts? This got 8. But yeah, so we'll start by, we'll pull this out. I'm gonna set it up here so we keep it dry. And this is gonna be y'all, so we're giving this to y'all to trap with and everything.
So the package that comes with all this?
Yeah.
Excluding T-posts?
Yes, yeah, it comes with everything but those T-posts. So yeah, I guess we'll get started. So you'll take this is that measuring strap, so you know where to put all your T-posts. But y'all see this mark on here? So that shows, that'll be where your first T-post goes. So you could start wherever you wanted to, but you'll go straight off the side, lay it down, and then when you're doing this, you wanna make sure that it's not, if you're pulling and it's hung up on a tree or something or a little root, that it's not caught up and it's measured straight out. I normally recommend is getting a 7-foot T-post, 7 or 6.5, depending on how hard your ground is. Ground's really hard right now, so you don't need a 1.5 feet. But so I normally say you put at least a foot in there, and you'll do it with the ribs inside. So you'll go with your first one, you'll make sure that it's lined up right there. I'll let you drive it down in there. But there's a hook, and you'll hook it on the other side of this, and you just pull it. But yeah, so you see, you just go to that same mark that we put that first one at, and then we'll go right in front of it.
You're actually trying
exactly. Yep. Yeah, because then you can take the risk of it pulling out or falling out. And then so these are those brackets I was talking about. Instead of using those U clamps, you just slide this over top. Go down to there. Make sure it's at 5 feet. You go all the way down with that. Here, I'll pass these out to y'all if y'all want to go put some of these on. That'll be what working right there. And then another thing I was telling y'all these need to be on the inside. It's super important because if you have this on the other side, it'll slide down. It'll keep going. The pigs will be beating up on it. It'll end up sliding all the way down there. Pigs will be able to get out. So that's why you got to have it on the outside, pulling up against it.
What you want net?
We'll put the net on. Yeah, y'all can circle around, start putting those on there, and then
You got it all by yourself.
all by yourself. Just knot it up simply to where you can undo it if you want to undo it for some reason. Most people won't. How often do y'all trap?
Just with a class.
Yeah, just with the class. So how does that work since y'all aren't in class all the time? So if you get pigs one morning, you go, just you going? You get stuck with it, huh?
Well, which I waited to drop the trap.
Right, until a class could go.
And
then weave it in there, and then weave it right back out. Make sure it's got both sides, pull it all the way through. Go again, all the way down to the bottom. I kind of do 3 or 4, just kind of do it as close as I can, just in case, so it's nice and tight and there's no reason for it to fail. When I get to the bottom of this, there's gonna be a little rope that you can pull right here. And so that'll close this bottom ring all around here, tighten it up a little bit because it was loose and it was all bundled up together. So you'll pull it, tighten it up to where it's about right there. So you want this flush on the ground and this one kind of flush on the ground but hovering in some spots. Yeah, so a couple different things. So one, less T-posts. We've worked pretty close with the USDA and everything, and they came to us and talked, this is what we want different, we want another style, something a little bit easier to use. They're like, get rid of the T-posts, get rid of the inner ground anchors, make it a little bit different on the net side. So they notice that their netting's squared. Ours is diamond. So when you get a pig in there, if you got it tight and a boar's tusk hits this right here, it's pulling right on that. And so it's pulling just that side. If you get it on the diamond, it's pulling the whole net with it, if that makes sense, kind of, because it's pulling from all this angle versus just that square and putting a lot more precedence on those 2 knots. It's putting that corner. They really like these rings because if you're going to get in and out of this, you can step on it and then pull this up over top once it's set down, which we're about to have it set down. But you can pull this ring over top and just step over instead of having to climb up and down underneath it.
Plus the T-post plates instead of the muffler clamps.
Yeah, that was a big change as well, and a lot easier. You don't have to bring tools out there besides the T-post driver and a hammer.
Is there a potential you can build this without the T-post, like you were saying, using like trees and stuff?
Yeah, you can put it in wood, and the cinch straps he's going to show you, the trees are the T-post. Or if you've got some trees and T-posts, you don't have to knock all eight. Great question. But again, you still want it clean. You don't want stumps and everything in here because that stump will grab on here and then it'll rip and then you're calling us to the pig out. So this right here is cable system. Helps keep it ground down too. You just go over the rope.
So that takes place from the anchors.
The ground anchor. So you're not having to dig the ground anchors out. They don't ever really get back straight. This is another way. This is our way of keeping it down.
Yep.
Kind of line it up. I'm going with that seam. So I'm going to like a cross or plus sign, like Cam said. I guess depending on how you're looking at it.
So when you're doing conditioning, are you leaving this off?
When you're doing conditioning, and I normally say, start with the bait site, then put your T-posts up, watch them, see how they're acting around that. They start eating inside the T-post and everything. Then put your net up, and I'd put it up as high up as you can get it. So basically at that 5 foot to where it won't even touch them. They just can see it. And then once they get used to it again, lower it down to where it brushes up against their back, and they get used to it brushing up against their back for a couple nights, and then drop it down.
Net traps and deer are a concern.
Yes, they are.
What is y'all's thoughts on how to mitigate that risk?
Right.
What is there just talk to me on the
Right,
deer. Have you had that concern?
Yeah, so we've had that concern. I've actually had deer in my net trap. And so one of the pros of these rings as well is so when you get a deer up in there, and you're lucky because they're going to get wrapped up in it sometimes, but if they don't, that's why we have these rings to where they can't get wrapped up and knock it down and pull it off. But you can pop you'll pop this ring off, you'll pop 2 of these off, and I walk to the other side, and they get scared, run on out. Instead of you having to come up, take those muffler clamps off, everything, all that, and pull it off out of there. But I mean, that is a problem. That's one of those things you got to be mindful of when you want to trap and everything as well. When to trap and everything. Right, because it can be a problem, At that time, pigs are normally on bait, on feeders and everything. Because you can feed in Georgia, correct, for deer? Yeah. So I'll go ahead and we'll start cinching this down. Same tools that y'all use for the other one with the outer ground anchors, those earth anchors.
Why wolf fangs instead of stakes since they're harder to pull up?
So we use wolf fangs because they're not easier to pull up. There's a couple other tricks and stuff to pull those out. What I do is once that's all the way in the ground, because we suggest you go to where you just have this much sticking out, I'll take that same drive rod, drive it right down next to it, and then move it around in that ground, open it up a little bit, and then I'll stick it through this loop on the top, and then pull up on it and just pull, pull, pull. It's not the easiest thing, but they'll get out eventually. And then you come on through here and you've got it set up. Yep.
I'll tell them
So how does the interior, without stakes in the center, how does that work?
Yeah, so that cable system keeps it in that circle. And then what we've noticed is that they weren't exactly needed because the pigs are standing on top of the net with the way that it's coming all the way in there, and there's less area of just the ground. They're standing on top of the net and staking it down themselves. Yeah, I pour the corn in a pile right on top of that.
Awesome. Well, thank y'all so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Especially thanks for the donation. For the
Absolutely.
Can't wait to be able to use it and see what we can do.
Right.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Absolutely. We're wrapping this video up here now. We had a great trip overall promoting the Boar blanket and showing it off to a couple people and meeting with a couple people that we needed to see. So we just got done with the tail end of that. As we're heading home now, we showed ABAC Abraham Baldwin Agricultural College down here in Tifton, Georgia. We did a demo for them and donated them one of the Boar blankets for them to trap with and use for their senior projects and everything. So we're glad to be able to add another tool to their tool belt and get to trapping. And we really appreciate y'all following along and in our journey down here in Georgia.